morning, church. I hope that it has been just a wonderful weekend. It snowed a little bit here, so we got some hot cocoa and started watching some Christmas movies. So I hope that whatever you've been doing, you've been around people you love. Our affirmation for this week is my heart is connected to spirit through prayer. So we're going to read a story about a friend that will help us understand that better. Here we go. It is possible to make a new friend anywhere. Monica and Gwen became friends during a beginner's quilting class on Saturday mornings. Together they looked at fabric, cut out pieces, and compared designs. They both wanted to make a quilt for their mothers. After the last class, the girls were chatting with Eileen, the younger teacher. Eileen was older than Monica and Gwen. She was out of high school, but Eileen felt like a friend now too, and she had been a terrific teacher to the girls. She knew a lot about sewing, and she was an expert quilter. The girls thought her designs were really neat and not too old-fashioned. Eileen wished them luck on their projects. That is a wonderful idea, but it could get tricky. So remember, I am happy to help if you need it. You could even come to my house and work on it if you'd like. Call me anytime, and she gave them her phone number. The girls were sure they could handle it themselves, but told Eileen they would call her if they needed an expert. They went home and got started right away. It wasn't too long before Gwen needed help. She couldn't ask her mom. That would spoil the surprise. So she got out Eileen's number and called, but the line was busy. She planned to call back later, but she got distracted playing games with her brother, and she just forgot. The next day she tried working on her quilt again, but didn't know what to do, and since Eileen lived nearby, Gwen walked over to her house. She tapped lightly on the door, feeling a little shy about asking for help. The house was near the schoolyard, and Gwen could see some of her classmates on the playground. When there was no answer, she ran off to join the kids on the playground. Monica had also realized she couldn't finish her quilt without help, so she called Eileen and also got a busy signal. She tried calling every hour all day without any luck. First thing the next morning, Monica went over to Eileen's house. As she knocked on the door, she heard the kids calling from the playground, but she just waved and kept knocking. There was a doorbell too, and she tried that, but no one answered. She couldn't give up. She really needed help. So Monica looked through the windows. She saw a couple of lights and a cup of tea on the table, and then noticed the car was in the driveway. It certainly looked like Eileen was home. Monica didn't want to get in trouble, but she went around the house to the backyard gate. It was locked, but Monica kept walking around the fence until there was a crack so she could see through. She pressed her eye up to the fence, hoping there wasn't a mean dog on the other side. Eileen, Eileen, are you there? Monica called loudly. Suddenly, the back gate opened, and Eileen appeared. She had her gardening gloves and her sun hat on and was smiling. Monica, I knew that was your voice. Come on in. When Monica told Eileen about the problem she was having with her quilt, Eileen insisted they work together to get it done that same day. I'm so glad you kept trying to get in touch with me. My mom has been sick, and I've been on the phone a lot, so it was great that you came over and didn't give up. When they finished the quilt, it was beautiful, and Monica couldn't wait to show Gwen. Gwen was impressed with the quilt. She asked, how did you get Eileen to help you? She never answered me when I tried to reach her. Monica smiled and asked her friend, how hard did you try, really? She was so nice and she really wants to help us. You could try again. Okay, I have a couple questions for us today. Number 1, do you think Gwen really believed that Eileen would be there for her? Maybe that's why she worked so hard. She believed that Eileen said, call me anytime, contact me anytime, I'll help. Maybe that's why she worked so hard. She knew in her heart that Eileen would be there for her. How do you think you can feel God's love within when we're praying? So when we're praying, it's just a conversation with Spirit or with God, and we can talk to Spirit or God about whatever we want. Ask for things, talk about our day. How do you think you can feel the presence of God when you're doing that? Do you think you can feel connection with God if you only think about asking once, as Gwen did? Or do you think it's something you need to do regularly, or maybe something you do maybe even every day? The thing about God or experiencing God is that it doesn't need to be something that has a lot of pressure. So if there's a day you feel like, I don't want to pray today, that's okay. And if there's another day you decide, I want to go in nature and I want to think about beauty and think about God, you can do that too. So it's open for whatever you want it to be. Okay, church friends, we're going to end today with a Bible verse. It says in Luke 11:9-10, So I say to you, ask and it will be given to you. Search and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened for you. For everyone who asks receives, and everyone who searches finds, and for everyone who knocks the door will be opened. So I want you to think about that this week. I hope you have a really great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye, friends.